Hey guys, how's it going? It's the 7th of October and I thought I'd do a video about my banana plants because I've shown you around them before, but I haven't done a video specifically on them. So yeah, I'm really happy with how they've come along at the end of this year, but it's taken a long time because we had quite a cool start to the year. But they're getting there now, and I've got a few different varieties, not as many as I did have before, and yeah, I might acquire a few more this kind of winter, but I'll just show you around the ones that I've got. So we're going to start with the Dwarf Cavendish banana because this is one that I go on about quite a lot, and I've got a few plants of this variety now which I've propagated over the years. I originally bought one plant, this was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had it at the end of my bed on the windowsill when I was completely bedbound, and yeah, I grew it in a container, and then I think I planted them out last year at the allotment here, and I planted them out again this year. They've been quite slow. You can see we're coming to the end of the season now and they're still only like maybe 2 foot, if that. But yeah, it's a really lovely banana variety. So Cavendish is the variety banana that we eat. So it's grown all around the world, and Dwarf Cavendish is meant to be a dwarf version of that, which allows you to kind of grow it under cover a little bit more easily, without worrying that it's going to hit the top of the greenhouse. Although, to be fair, I think it probably would hit the top of a greenhouse if it was fully grown. I think these can probably grow still at least like 6 foot, but I haven't got it to that point yet. But yeah, I've got a few plants of this. You can see they have this really lovely colouring on the young foliage, which it tends to fade as they get a bit older. But yeah, so I've got this one here, that one over there, and then, to be fair, this may have been the original plant, I think. This one here. So they haven't really grown a whole lot in height. However, they've all put out loads more pups. So pups are the baby banana offshoots that come from underground, from the corm. And you can see there's one here, and you can easily divide these. So if you just put a spade in, you can take that offshoot and grow it on as a separate plant. I suspect that part of the reason they haven't grown much is because they've all put out loads of pups again. You see there's one there. So they've grown kind of laterally, if you like, but they haven't actually put on much height. But anyway, I mean, the dream is obviously to get one of these to a fruiting age, because Cavendish is, like I said, it's a banana that we eat, and Dwarf Cavendish are just smaller bananas, but they don't have seeds in. So I'll come to that when I get to the other banana varieties, because there's a lot of other hardier banana varieties which unfortunately the fruit have seeds in, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Now these guys, the Dwarf Cavendish, are probably only hardy to, well, I think when temperatures dipped into about 7 degrees overnight, these took a bit of a hit. So really, and that's 7 degrees Celsius. So really, they're not one for leaving out. You definitely can't leave out over winter. And I'm in the southeast, one of the warmest parts of the UK, so you definitely can't leave out over winter. But then even in like more northerly parts of the UK, it might even not be a good idea to put these outside, even in the summer. But yeah, it's a lovely variety. I am going to be digging up all my bananas soon, which is why I'm doing this video now. It's a shame because it's just as they get into their best, they're starting to look really nice. So yeah, the next one we're going to look at is the Musa Folia. I think the common name is hardy fiber banana, or Japanese fiber banana, and in the name you can get the idea that this is a little bit hardier than most other bananas. In fact, it's probably one of the hardiest. However, the disadvantage is that if it does fruit, which it can do in the south of the UK, I think it even has in sort of upper regions of the UK as well, the fruits all have seeds in, so it's not exactly one that you're going to grow for fruit. But then, to be fair, you're very unlikely to get a banana to fruit with edible fruits really in the UK, unless you've got a big greenhouse, like quite a big one. But this one is a really nice plant, and you know, I'm growing these really for the foliage. I'd love to get one of them to fruit, but to be honest, I don't really have the space here at my allotment because I'm growing lots of other stuff. But yeah, Musa is definitely one you want to look into if you want to get that kind of tropical feel. And so you want a banana plant, but you want one that's fairly hardy. Now here in the southeast, I can leave this out completely unprotected, and it does come back. The top growth does die off, but it does come back from the base the following year. So yeah, it's quite a good one for me. This does grow very large, and you know, this is a small specimen if you like, but as you can see, again, there are lots of corms through there. It's put out loads of pups. I've probably got about 4 or 5 plants. Now for me, for where it is, I am going to leave it where it is, but I don't really want it getting that big, to be honest. Maybe another foot or so higher. So what I'll probably do each year is take out the biggest of the plants and just let the smallest ones grow on the following year. I mean, they all die to the base anyway, but yeah, I don't really want it getting hugely established because it will shade out all of my other beds and loads of other ornamentals. So but yeah, if you want a really large banana plant that's going to give you really dramatic foliage and is pretty hardy, then Musa is a really good one to go for. And yeah, if you're in the north of the UK, you can leave it outside if you just wrap the stems up in the winter, and sometimes like heavily mulch them. But yeah, so that's that one. So this little guy here, this is called Super Dwarf Cavendish, and I mean, you can kind of see why it would be called that. Now, it's not meant to be that small. I mean, it hasn't really done a lot of growing for me, to be honest. Now, as the name implies, it's meant to be an even smaller variety of Cavendish, which I thought would therefore be more likely to give you edible fruits. However, I think it just means that the growth is also similarly dwarfed and slow, at least for me. I don't know, maybe once it gets going. This is only its first season. I bought this in the winter, so yeah, maybe once it does get going, it will really pick up growth and get going. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what this guy does for me next year. I mean, it's really lovely anyway. It's a really lovely little plant. It's put out, I think there are loads of pups that it's put out, so maybe that's another issue. They seem to all want to put out loads of pups and not actually grow much in height. But yeah, anyway, that's the Super Dwarf Cavendish. Be interesting to see what it does next year. And finally, in the middle, although technically not a banana, this is a canna. The name is Canna Musa Folia, which means a canna with foliage like a banana, because the bananas are usually Musa, that's the genus. So this is a canna I bought this winter as one small single stem, and it's grown really, really well. I bought it because it's meant to be a vigorous grower and give you lots of lovely foliage, and it's done exactly that. It's put out another 4 or 5 pseudostems. The reason people say pseudostems is just because bananas don't have true woody growth. They grow these stems which don't have wood in them, and that's why we call them pseudostems. They're just made up of the leaf bases and the old leaves. But yeah, this is done really well for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this can do for me next year. I probably will let this one get a bit taller because it's right in the centre, so it wouldn't shade out over there so much. But to be honest, I think I will need to dig this up. I need to check. I have got some cannas over there, which you can't really see, but I just leave them in ground and they're fine, so maybe I could leave it, but I don't want to risk killing it, because yeah, it's a really lovely one. So like I said, it's not technically a banana, it's in the same family, but it kind of looks like a banana, and it's a really lovely one with a really nice like red tinge around the edges of the leaves. So yeah, that's another really good one if you're looking for that kind of foliage. So that is, yeah, that's all the bananas and cannas. The last, well, again, this is taking it one step further out. This is a ginger, which isn't even in the same family, but it's in a closely related family called the Zingiberaceae, the ginger family. This is hardy ginger. I think it's called Hidicium gardneranium, and yeah, this was planted out last year, and I planted it back out this year, and it's just spreading. It's quite cool. It's spreading all the way along, so I've got loads of stems of it. I don't think you can eat this the rhizome, which is a shame, because it does produce this ginger-like rhizome. It'd be really nice if you could eat it, because it would be a good variety that you could grow outside and actually crop ginger off of as well. But anyway, so yeah, there we go, guys. There's a little walk around my little banana collection. I did have a few more. I did have an Ensete, big red Ensete Morellii. That died. Apparently you can't leave that out even in the southeast of the UK, at least not the small plant that I had. And I did have a Musa Folia, which is meant to be a pink fruiting banana, and likewise I think that died, although I did have a banana pop up somewhere. I can't remember where it was now, amongst my ornamental section. I might have removed it, to be fair, which it could have been the remnants of the Musa Folia that just took a long time to pop up, but because I didn't know for sure, I removed it, because it could have just been a pup from one of my other bananas, and I didn't want to just have duplicates. So I might buy another one at some point, but I mean, for now it's quite packed, this little section in the middle. So yeah, anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate everyone watching, and yeah, feel free to like and subscribe if you want, and yeah, take care. I'll speak to you very soon.